This is a new book that I created based on a 17th century classic by Brother Lawrence. He was a Carmelite monk who had the habit of talking to God when he was working, whatever he happened to be doing, cleaning, cooking, shopping, walking, whatever, he would be thinking, talking to God as if God was a living presence. That book was so inspiring. I felt like I wanted to create a version of it for the current day. And I wanted to, and so I have. I've created this book. It's called Practicing the Presence of God in a Hyper-Connected World, inspired by Brother Lawrence. In chapter 1, we have the great digital divide, understanding our disconnection. So when we are not practicing the presence, we feel disconnected from our Maker. So if we want to feel like we're part of something big, something huge, it's a good idea to think of God during the day. So chapter 2 is redefining practice. What does that mean exactly, practicing the presence? It's like micro moments of divinity have a macro impact on our lives. Chapter 3 is mindful notifications. So you can use your inbox as a bell tower. Whenever you get a email coming in, you hear a bell, a ring, you can think, God is behind us. God created this. God is my maker. He is the source of all the knowledge and intelligence that went into making these fantastic technologies. Chapter 4, Sacred Screen Time, Cultivating Awareness in the Digital Stream. So even as digital messages stream in, you can practice the awareness of a presence beyond beyond your senses, beyond what you can see, hear, and touch. That presence is always with you. But it takes more than belief, it takes practice. Practicing and thinking about it. Chapter 5, Virtual Vessels, Connection Beyond the Screen. And that's what I was alluding to in the last chapter, alluding to that divine presence, even though you can't hear it. Sometimes you can't hear it. You can't see it, and sometimes you can't hear it. God will ultimately talk to you in the language of your own heart, in the still, small voice that sometimes rings true as your conscience. Chapter 6, The Commute as Cloister, Finding Stillness in Motion. So even as you're commuting from your house to your job and back, and your car, your bus, or subway, you can practice that presence, and you can find it in the stillness, in your inner stillness. Even though you're in motion, you're inside, you're still. This is something that comes from practicing. Chapter 7, The Workplace as Worship, Productivity with Presence. So even as you're busily doing your job, or wherever you might be, you can be thinking of God. You can be thinking of Him as the energy behind your energy, the intelligence behind your understanding, and so forth. So that can make a significant difference in your attitude and your self-concept. Chapter 8, The Home as Holy Ground, Domestic Divinity. So, at home. So when you're at home, of course, you're going to be thinking of God, thinking of your highest self, your greater self, your most loving and spiritually oriented self. So that is a perfect time to practice the presence. So this chapter gives you some ideas in that respect. Chapter 9, The Digital Sabbath, Unplugging to Reconnect. So, So as you unplug yourself from the digital world, perhaps on a Sunday. You unplug your phone so that you can reconnect with God. You can practice His presence even more deeply than you did during the week. And it strengthens your spiritual practice on your Sundays. Chapter 10, the glitch, a grace in the glitch, when you lose connection. So even though sometimes you may forget to be practicing, you may go through the day and realize, oh, I haven't even thought of God. I haven't said His name or anything. But at the same time, you may realize that you had a wonderful day. You floated through it because of your prior effort that carried over into your day. So chapter 11, final chapter. The journey continues, a life lived in the divine presence. So your continued practice over time will develop a change in your consciousness, and that will show up in your personality, in your behavior, and the world will thank you for it. So I encourage you to purchase this book and be sure to look for practicing the presence of God in a hyper-connected world. There are several copies of Brothers Lawrence's original book called Practice the Presence of God, and they're formatted differently, of course. This one is the only one I know of, I think, that brings his ideas and his philosophy and so forth into the modern world. So leave a comment, by all means, a review, so I know that it made a difference. Thank you for listening.